familiar with his jaywalking episode?
Okay, it's
the man in the
recording.
street
Oh, it's
interviews where he
recording.
walks
So
around.
is the screen lined out there?
Oh.
Because I can't tell sitting from this side. Like that? Okay, hold it like that.
But so he goes and he asks, some pretty obvious
Look.
questions, and he
There
gets
you
some
go.
pretty hilarious
Look.
answers.
There you
And
go.
I was reminded of one where Jay walks up to a young lady and he says, "What was the Gettysburg Address?" He says, "Have you heard of it?" And she said, "Yes, I've heard of it, but I don't know the exact address." Okay. And then he asked another young guy, he said, "Who lives in the Vatican?" And the guy said, "The Vaticans?" Like in the but so it admittedly, I mean, if I was under the pressure of Jay Leno and cameras asking me, I'm sure I'd answer some pretty crazy ways. But it does make me wonder what has happened to education in our country, and I think we all wonder that as we see the product of education in America. Have you guys ever been in a situation at work or in some organization where you've asked the question about a process or a policy, and you've asked someone, why do we do this the way that we do? And the person looks at you and says, I don't really know. It's just the way that we've always done it. Tonight I want to ask you guys, why do we educate the way that we do? Why do we educate the way that we do? Now, it's possible that we take for granted what education is, or it's possible that we take for granted how education should be done in this country. Public education is an American tradition. That's what a lot of people think, and we'll find out tonight if that is true or not. Tonight I hope to briefly explain to you guys why we educate the way we do in America. Well, certainly one of the highest priorities to a parent is to educate their child. But what does the word educate even mean? Let me go to the next slide. The word educate comes from the Latin verb educare, which has the meaning of lead out. So interestingly, this term educate doesn't necessarily have anything to do with inputting knowledge or facts into the head. Rather, it has the sense to be led out of immaturity and into what a child shall become. Now, the Oxford Dictionary gives us the meaning of education as to give intellectual, moral, and social instruction. So it's clear from the origin definition that education is more than mere data input. It involves the total formation of the child. And because, we can go to the next slide, because education involves moral and social development, it cannot be neutral. It cannot be neutral. Education is necessarily dependent on a worldview, on the aims and goals of the instructors and the institutions. It is not a neutral thing. It is not the passing along of brute facts dumped into a child's head. Sorry, screen. As we explore the origins of public education in America, we'll also uncover the worldview, aims, and goals that form the bedrock of this system. Now, if I ask you guys, are there any significant problems in the public schools of America today? I think our heads would nod all in unison. Countless hours of TV, internet, and newspaper coverage have highlighted the many problems, and I don't need to go into an analysis of all the different problems because that's not really the point here, but there's high student sex, there's student-teacher sex, there is foul language, drugs, alcohol, radical homosexual agenda, abortions without parental consent, cyberbullying leading to suicide, brutal beatings, and school shootings. And these are just some of the headlines that have become the norm. And that doesn't include things like cheating, disrespect for authority, and other moral behaviors that children learn regularly and repeatedly in the school. But again, these are the mere symptoms of what is going on. Now, with the best of intentions, many assume that the cure is some sort of school reform.